Welcome back to the Extra Rep Podcast, guys. I'm Josh.
I'm Liam.
So today we're going to go through smarter decisions when you eat out. So, there's a bit to cover here, obviously, when we talk about, just eating out. And I think it's always good to understand that, with eating out, it's obviously, a emotional choice, and there's a lot of social health around this topic, right? So,
especially coming into Christmas.
Correct, coming into Christmas. So I think it'd be really good if we gave sort of our opinions on, how you can manage this sort of stuff. And we can sort of go into, managing the festive season a little bit as well, and how we'll sort of navigate it, because I'm sure we're going to have a extremely similar approach to that as well, considering we have the same family. So, we'll be eating pretty much the same foods. So I think the first place to start, Liam, is I know you had a bit of like a story, but I think you would explain obviously the story, but then obviously explain, things you can do to, make those little changes that people might not know as well.
Yeah, so I'll just tell the story of what happened this morning. So there was about 7 of us boys. We caught up for brekkie, and we all caught up because we all wanted to catch up before we all get really busy over the holiday season. Of course, everyone's got their Christmas parties going away, Christmas, all that stuff. And we were at a place, Provisions in Williamstown. Hadn't been there for like 5 years. Good breakfast place. Coffee's great, all that stuff. I will just say, if you want to save on calories, get a black coffee instead of a 300-calorie latte. There's one substitute there already. But I'm looking at the whole menu. And everything is like pancakes, eggs Benedict, covered in sauce, everything avo, porridge, like all these very high calorie foods. And the porridge was high calorie because it came with a bunch of like yogurt and all this other stuff, which is still high in fat. It's like, yes, these are the healthy options, right? So here's what I opted for. I got 4 poached eggs on dark rye toast, and I had a wholemeal hash brown on the side. Now, what I forgot to do was I forgot to ask for the butter on the side. So they automatically butter the toast. Now, I don't know if it's the cheap margarine butter. I don't know what it is, but I know instantly there's about 100 to 200 calories there just from buttering the toast. And it's not like the toast without the butter is going to make a big difference. Like, my poached eggs are going over anyway. It's going to taste the exact same to me. So I've just wasted 100 to 200 calories just purely by neglecting, not only my own knowledge, but I just forgot to ask. The other thing is, with the eggs there, right, I ordered poached because I was trying to save calories. Let's say if you order fried or especially scrambled, you don't know how much oil is cooked in it. You don't know what other shit they've put in the scrambled eggs to make it taste so delicious, because I guarantee
Milk and butter.
Yep, I guarantee you cook scrambled eggs at home and you always wonder, why doesn't it taste as good as if it's at a restaurant?
It's always, milk and butter.
Milk and butter.
Milk, butter, and oil.
Yep.
I think that's like, it's the perfect tangent into...
Yeah, I was so cut as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I saw it.
Yeah. And that's why, again, poached, really, really good option.
Yeah.
And I'll do similar. It's like, I feel like almost breakfast is like, not the hardest, but it seems to be, because there's a lot of high fat foods generally in breakfast. I feel like it's actually quite difficult it's probably the hardest to track. Like, I feel like I can do lunches or dinners almost a bit easier sometimes than breakfast as well. But with that as well, you'll find a lot of the time it's just chefs don't care, right? Without sounding rude, chefs do not give a fuck about calories. I can tell you that now. Butter, cream, sugar, oil, they will just keep adding whatever they can until it tastes good, right? And so what's going to happen is, obviously, with whatever you have, whatever that's counted, let's say you go have fish and chips, right? And your MyFitnessPal says it's 600 calories, I'd always give a 20% variance to like that sort of stuff.
I'd double it.
Yeah, well,
if it's fish and chips.
Well, depends what we're having. Is it flaked? Is it fried? Is it steamed? All that sort of stuff. But yeah, I would start with just being conscious. It's like, we're not saying like, oh, you can't have the butter, or you can't have this, you can't have that. We just want you to be conscious of the choices and decisions you're making, because a lot of the time people pick the quote unquote healthy option, and it might contain 400 or 500 more calories than the bacon and egg roll they wanted anyway.
I'm telling you, all my mates around me ordered like big brekkie, eggs Benedict, all this stuff, and all I could see is just avocado, bacon, fucking sujuk chorizo sausages,
so good.
hollandaise sauce. I'm like, yeah, it's all nice, right? But they're all literally consuming an extra 700 to 900 calories just at breakfast. Literally. And I'm like, they don't know the damage that they're doing. And I didn't say anything, of course. I hate knowing what I know, because I'm like looking around at them, but I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. And I think that it's important to note that it's like, say you're going out for breakfast, right? It's like, okay, we just need to understand that the rest of the day, we just need to probably be a bit more conscious around calories, right? Or have we, maybe just saved a few calories consciously a day or two before that, right? It's like, we're not saying you can't go out and have fucking breakfast. Like, things are going to contain calories at the end of the day.
Yep.
And there is an element of, okay, of course, with some avocado, some nice eggs, some salmon, like there's going to be some great micronutrition there as well. And obviously some of the bread's going to be nice.
Yep.
But yeah, it's one of those things where we still have to, when we're eating out, really just understand and make more conscious decisions. It's exactly why you see people, when they're bodybuilding and things like that, bring their fucking Tupperware to the restaurants and that. And it's not that they're that, I just don't want to eat that. Of course they want to eat it, but they just know it just contains a fuckload of calories that currently aren't in their plan. So I think the answer's always in the middle ground, isn't it? It's like, you're not going to be obsessive to the point of taking Tupperware to the restaurant unless you're competing, probably, right?
Yeah.
Just like, you need to understand calories, or you're going to think, I ate a healthy acai bowl and that was 1,000 calories in your breakfast and your maintenance is around 1,500 as an example. So there's got to be some middle ground. Just need to learn to, understand how to roughly calculate, make a decision and then just move on, I think is a really important one as well. Some people will freak out so much. Yeah.
Which I'm bringing up on this podcast. I'm still mad about it to this day.
Yeah, but some people will, like, you know what I mean? It's like they won't ever move on sort of thing. It'll be like, you can obviously go, okay, lunch, maybe I'll have chicken salad now, you know, and dinner maybe be a bit leaner, maybe, some meat and potatoes and veg or something. And it's like, okay, balancing it out a little bit. Maybe I've gone over for the day, but like tomorrow I can adjust it. For most of my clients, I'll just say, don't worry about it. Just get back on your plan the next day. Over the course of a week, those potentially extra, 500 calories you had that day is going to make an absolute minimal fucking dent in your actual fat loss for the week. You're still going to probably get 90% of the way there of whatever goal you've set for that week in fat loss.
Well, I'd actually be interested to hear your side of this, because this actually happened to you. It was about 2 months ago. I'll never forget it because I'll never forget your face. But we had dinner at our family's house once a week, and our mum had done the shopping, and she'd bought what she thought was a 0 sugar grape Fanta. And I'm like, oh yeah, I poured myself a glass. And then I looked at the back. I'm like, this is a full sugar one. And Josh had already drank a glass, and he just turned his head and he was just like, I've just drank like 250 calories of just pure sugar. And it feels like such a waste, right? Because you thought it was 0 sugar. She thought it was like, she's like, oh, it was on the shelf. It was right next to it. She just grabbed the wrong one, didn't think of it.
Yeah.
And I think how did you move on from that?
Well, it's funny because it's the situation, right? So let's say Sunday dinner at mum's, we know that's going to be a fair few amount of calories, right? Yep. So consciously in the lead up, I have a very light breakfast, might have an extra coffee, have a lighter lunch, plenty of fiber. So I leave myself, the calories to go, okay, I can eat and enjoy it most of the time, right? And if I'm dieting, I'm a bit more strict, but wasn't dieting, right? But I think it's that fact that that's happened, and then I know I'm then going to have to consume probably another 1,500 calories with dessert.
Yep.
That's what tipped me over. If it was a random Tuesday, I'd just be like, shit, I'll just half my portion of XYZ. But once you're in that sort of thing, it is that trying to get that goldfish mentality to be like, it happened, and that's just what you got to do sometimes. Like by the next day I was over it, but when it happened, I was just like, fuck.
So it happened to me last week. I had my work Christmas party, and, just Australian culture, everyone, just looks at you and asks you, where's your drink, blah, blah, blah. So my little hack, and I've said this on the podcast before, is I drink lime and soda water. And if anyone asks me, I just say it's a vodka lime and soda. But the girl didn't speak English that well, the bartender. So I got lime and soda water, but she gave me like a lemon lime squash or something. We're talking like a full 30 gram sugar. And I sipped it and I was like, fuck.
You can tell straight away.
Because, this is a Christmas party, so food was all free and everything, and I had already devoured some calories. And I was like, I just don't need an extra 200 calories of straight sugar syrup.
Yeah.
But I had it anyway.
Yeah.
And I moved on.
Exactly. I think the main thing is moving on. I think that'll be a good thing to sort of lead into calories and managing around the festive season, right? So, again, you guys are going to have lunches, dinners, all these little events, Christmas parties, etc. Yep. And I think the first step, the easiest step, is you're going to have 5 days around it, whatever day it is, that you're going to eat pretty normally, right? So those 5 days, you can just look at what you're normally having through your breakfast, lunch, and dinner and go, okay, is there anywhere I can just easily cut some calories, reduce some portions? The easiest way is you're thinking, less olive oil, less fats. That's going to help bring the calories down. Then maybe, reducing the carbs to, 2/3 or something like that in, say, your dinner time meals or something like that. It's going to give you an extra, 200 calories a day to play with. That way you can go in guilt-free on the day, eat whatever you want. In terms of like a plating method, because I know everyone has a big Christmas feast, right? First plate, I always like to go, okay, can you get a lot of meat and a lot of veg on there?
Oh, yeah.
If you can think about that for your first plate, that's going to set you down really well because we all fucking know you're going back for a second one. And then your second one go, okay, that can be my, bit of indulgence plate. And I think that's a good strategy because it's okay. You've already had your protein, vegetables, fiber. You probably had some good micronutrition there. And then, you're going to have your little second plate of dessert and, baked scalloped potatoes and choc mousse and whatever else, right? So we know it's not going to be perfect. I think for a lot of people, and I've mentioned this, I did a little post on it that's coming out in a couple of days, but it's basically just understanding that when people go, oh, how did I get so fat? They go over 20 years, they go, I've gained 20 kilos in like 20 years, So most people don't gain a crazy amount of weight. It's literally these 2 weeks around this Christmas, New Year, where they'll just gain like 2 kilos of straight body fat because everything's just out the window. There's no structure, there's no discipline, there's nothing. And I'm not saying you can't, have little treats, but you still need to set some meal times, set some sort of structure with your nutrition because that's going to stop you from just picking, eating whatever you want, snacking more, doing all those things. And I can guarantee you, this is the reason why, over 5, 10, 20 years, you're like, oh, how am I 20 kilos overweight? I eat well throughout the year. And a lot of you do, but it's these 2 weeks that can be really destructive. So I think that's something to just be wary of. Of course, you can have your day eating whatever you want, but just get back to some structure in between those days and after that, and you'll be sweet.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because it's not just eating structure, right? Like eating structure goes out the window because a lot of people's life structure, like what happens in the 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's, is like people take time off work.
Of course.
So they have all this spare time. They're actually at home a lot, actually catching up on TV shows they missed out on, just doing whatever. And then, oh, I'm actually home now. Oh, what's in the pantry? Oh, what's it like, so many different things. Oh, there's leftovers from that. Like, people just decide to eat. And I always say perform and work and build up to it. Like, start really hammering in your training now, dialing in your nutrition now. It's like, okay, this is not only a good thing because people, they're already starting to think about either mentally checking out of 2025 or they think about what their 2026 goals are. It's like, well, tomorrow's December 1st. It's like, why not get a month ahead on them? Why not lock in your nutrition tomorrow and then you can eat like an asshole at Christmas and feel completely guilt-free. That's what I'm doing, at least.
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, it's just creating some sort of routine and structure, because it's going to be different to how you normally have a routine and structure. So you've still got to be like, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to sleep in if I've got 2 weeks of holidays, right? But still set yourself a rough time. Like, okay, I need to be up by this. I'll still go for a walk. I'll still do, a rough amount of steps, an hour walk a day, wherever that may be. And the same thing with the gym. You still want to book in the gym to be like, okay, like, I might be going less frequently. Maybe I normally go 4, even if you're getting in 2, right? Over those 2 weeks, I think it is really important to still have some sort of structure. We know it's going to be a lot more lenient than it would be, when you're really structured with your work life throughout the year. But again, when you're on holidays, I still think it's important to, of course, relax, of course, enjoy yourself. Of course, you can take days off, but you do need to have just a little bit of structure so you don't just completely fall off the wagon. And then when you go back to, normal life, quote unquote, you then go, oh shit, I'm behind the 8 ball, haven't meal prepped, haven't done any of that. And it takes you another 3 weeks to get your first session in the gym in 2026.
I just remember because Josh and I are very congruent with this in terms of like routine stuff. I mean, we do it for a job, we do it as a lifestyle and living, but we've had our mum, text us on Christmas Day of like, get your asses over here right now because we're both at the gym. Yeah. Just, getting the work in because we're like, we're about to consume easily 1,500 calories this lunch. It's like, we are putting it to good use, at least.
Double that, I reckon.
Double that, yeah, depending. But we are putting it to good use. That's for damn sure.
But I think that's a good thing to think about as well. Like, pre a big meal, like going to the gym probably is the best thing you can do because you sit there and go, okay, think about it like, yeah, I'm going to be fueling myself. The chances of probably you being more insulin sensitive and that potentially getting into your muscles and that and potentially less body fat, it all can probably play a very small part. But I think it's like, it's not about, oh, I've gone to the gym and now I've earned my food. But it is something to be like, oh, okay, gone to the gym, now my muscles need to be fed. So you can get to a point of, okay, at least I know I'll be recovered really well. And this is a time where if you have the time, you could really push your training because you know calories are going to be naturally higher as well, and your sleep stress is probably going to be less, sleep's probably going to be higher. So
You don't
if
have
you
to
can,
stress about work.
if you can
You're
go
gonna be as parasympathetic as possible.
yeah, go ham. Like, you know, for your training sessions, like push more sets, do more stuff because I think, you know, you should have the recovery capabilities to be able to go through that.
Definitely.
Easy. Does that
Anything
cover
else?
it? Yeah.
I will say one would be, because we're just bringing it back to, you know, eating out, making the smarter choices, PDF online menu. For God's sake. It's, you know where you're going for Christmas, if it's someone's house or if it's at a restaurant or whatever, they will have their set Christmas menu, everything like that. Like, just take 5 minutes to have a look and prepare in head. That goes for anywhere where you're going.
Yeah. And I think it's like picking the options as well, right? It's like if you go, oh, I want the, you know, the fucking Wagyu steak, right? I know that's going to contain more calories and there's a starter as well. It's like, okay, maybe I won't get the garlic bread as a starter on top. Maybe I'll get a little tuna ceviche or salad or something like that. It's just trying to find and, you know, be smart with those choices. And again, you know, you got things like, you know, grilled, Guzman, all these sort of, you know, semi-fast food options that are probably a bit better than your McDonald's and that. But again, there's still going to be calories. So you can still make smarter choices, you know, again, if you're stuck on the run and just, you know, protein shakes, protein bars. Yes. Would I have 3 protein bars a day? No. But it's, again, if it's just something quick, convenient and easy, I think it's going to be really, really simple to be able to do.
You have to. I mean, if you got a pull-in drive-through, KFC Zinger with no mayo is like 25 grams of protein and 300 calories. There you go. Yeah. That'll fill you up. I had a client, Dylan, he was traveling internationally. He's a sales guy, you know, high income, high stress, all that stuff. Had some client dinners. He used to send me the PDF menu and be like, hey, I'm going here for dinner tonight. Like, what do you reckon? Right. And I'd just browse through. I'd pick out 3 options for him. And I'm like, all right, this.
I think a really good one is, like, if you don't know the calories, if you've got no idea, I think the one thing you can do is look and go, okay, can I pick a meal with a protein source, good protein source, and the least amount of ingredients possible?
Yeah.
Because you can sort of think, okay, well, the less ingredients, probably, not always, the least amount of calories. You know, all those fancy restaurants where they have like 20 ingredients in everything. It's because it's to obviously make it taste fucking delicious, right? The more ingredients, the better, with butter, oil, sugar. But if you can think about that, that's going to make it really easy. Or just, again, ask for sauces on the side, you know? You can ask for no butter on certain things. You can do these guys.
You can do them.
Yeah, we're not saying to, you know, skin a chicken parma and make it just lean only with no breadcrumbs. It's like, just make some smarter choices, ask for some sauces on the side, and eat till 80% fulls. I think a massive one as well. You don't need to finish it just because it's on your plate, especially if you're already feeling content and full.
You don't need to bring your beef tallow to a restaurant to ask the chefs to cook them in that.
That bloke's a fuckwit.
And that's a good place to end it.
I think that's a great place to end it. Paul Saladino. You
name dropped him.
You guys can look him up. I don't care. He's a dickhead. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Again, please share the podcast if you've got something out of this. Hope you guys have a great festive season as well. Of course, we'll have a few more episodes before Christmas to get through. But again, if you guys need any help, training, coaching, nutrition, anything, inboxes are always open. Me at Action Fitness Nutrition or Liam at Coach Liam C. Murphy.
If my account's still online.
Yeah, if you don't get banned again. But until next time, guys, we'll see you in the next podcast.
See you guys.